work. Exercise 3, number 1, 2, and 4. So by hierdie moet julle onthou die eerste ding wat ons doen is ons gaan kies die kwadrante. Grade 11s? That's enough now. If you don't want to work, you're more than welcome to go and sit outside in the passage. But I suspect most of you need to keep quiet and listen now. Thank you very much. Sorry? Okay, so we start off with this one. That says we're looking for sign negative. In which two quadrants will we find sign as a negative value? Ek sal hierdie sê vir julle hier opskryf. Yes. So we're looking at either quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. Then the second one we're looking at is cos positive. Shush. Cos groter as 0. In which two quadrants will we find cos to be positive? 1 and 4. So do you see the only quadrant that I have 2 ticks in is quadrant 4? Stem julle saam? Met ander woorde, die kwadrant waarin ek my driehoekie gaan teken en jy teken hom altyd na die x-as toe is in kwadrant 4. All of you with me? Yes? Almal seker hoekom ek by kwadrant 4 uitgekom het. Now we carry on and we say we are working with sine. So remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, né? Oorstaande op skynsy. So I'm going to put 4 over 5. Now remember, the hypotenuse can never be negative. It's always positive. En maak het vir julle sin dat in die vierde kwadrant y 'n negatiewe waarde het. Right? Because it's below the x-axis, so y has a negative value. Sien julle? Ja? What's the next thing I need to do? Work out the value of x. Right? How do I do that? Pythagoras. And you will find it is 3. Positive or negative 3? Why positive? Because x is positive in quadrant 4. Want sien julle, hy lê aan die regterkant van die y-as en aan die regterkant van die y-as is x positief. Everybody with me today? No questions? None? Okay, dan sê hulle vir jou bepaal die waarde van tan theta maal cos theta. Julle by? Okay, so kom ons gaan lees hom af. For tan we need opposite over adjacent. Opposite is what? Negative 4. Adjacent is 3. Vir cos het ons nodig aangrensend oor skyns. Wat is aangrensend? En wat is die skynsy? And then you get negative 4 over 5 is your answer. Het julle almal om so? On to the next one. Julle het gehad nommer 1, 2 en 4. Number 2, they gave you tan of theta is equal to 12 over 5. And they also tell you that theta is between 90 degrees and 270. Just change that x in your books to a theta. It's supposed to be a theta. En dan sê hulle vir jou bepaal die waarde van dit en dit en dit en dit. Maar ons sal nou by die bepaal die waarde kom. Let's first get our triangle in the correct quadrant with all 3 the values filled in. Okay. So, wat is die eerste stukkie inligting wat ons het? We know that tan is positive, né? So for this one, I'm going to say in which two quadrants will tan be positive? 1 and 3. Jy, julle twee. Fokus gou, hou opgesels. Dankie. Goed. Dan kyk ek na tussen 90 en 270. In which two quadrants are we working with between 90 and 270? This is 0, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270. So do you see it will be there? So I'm working in quadrant 2 and 3. Okay. So in watter kwadrant gaan ek my driehoek teken? In kwadrant 3. Altyd na die x-as toe. Always to the horizontal axis. Goed, nou vul ons in. Tan is oorstaande op aangrensend. That's not right. What do I need? Both these values are negative in the third quadrant. That's why you get to a positive value again. Want 'n negatief en 'n negatief kanselleer mekaar uit. But in the third quadrant, do you agree it's below the x-axis, so y will be negative? And also, it is to the left of the y-axis, so x will be negative. No? Don't forget those. Now we work out the hypotenuse. How do we work it out? Good. And we get a value of 13. Positive or negative 13? Positive. Why? Because it is always positive. Goed. En as jy dit alles gedoen het, kan jy nou gaan en die uitdrukking gaan uitwerk wat hulle vir jou gevra het. So it was 10 over cos theta minus 5 over cos theta. Ek sou sommer gegaan het en hom eers gaan vereenvoudig het. Stem julle saam? Dis 5 op cos theta. Nee, want hulle noemers is mos dieselfde. So dan kan jy dit een breek maak and then it's just 10 minus 5. You could have done it in both fractions, but it might be a bit more difficult. So here I have 5 divided by, read off the value of cos. Negative 5 over 13. Okay, voordat ons hom verder gaan vereenvoudig, do you guys see that cos is negative? Nee? Die waarde van cos wat ons afgelees het is negatief. Do you see that? That should make sense to you because which of our functions is the only one that is positive in the third quadrant? Only tan. So both cos and sine will give you a negative value. And you guys need to start checking yourself on every step where you can. Want julle weet net tan is positief in die derde kwadrant. So if you got a positive value for cos now, you messed up your signs earlier on. Then you have to go back. Okay. As ons deeldele breek, dan maal ons met sy resiprook. So our answer will be negative 13. Yes? No? Robert, did you not get that? But do you see where I got mine? Good. Okay, en dan die laaste ene wat julle vir vakansie huiswerk gehad het, wat baie optimisties was van my om mee te begin, maar toe maar. It's so gelyk, and they also said that it's between 180 and 360. Okay. Nou as ons werk met Trig, wil ons altyd werk met 'n funksie van 'n hoek is 'n verhouding. So what is the function that we are working with here? It's either sine or cos or tan. What's the function? Cos. What is the hoek? The angle will be whatever follows directly after the function. So do you agree? The angle will be x. Okay? But now I need to, on the other side of the equation, get a relationship. So I'm going to say cos of x is equal to negative 3 over 5. Take a second. Do you see? The 3 comes over and it becomes negative. and then I divide on both sides by 5. So now I have a function of an angle is equal to a relationship. Dis wat jy eers doen. Okay. Goed, en nou gaan teken ons kartesiese vlak. Which two quadrants am I looking at here? Quadrant 2 and 3. Why? Because cos is negative in 2 and 3. It's only positive in 1 and 4. Onthou, elke funksie is positief in 2 kwadrante en negatief in 2 kwadrante. Good? And now I'm looking at between 180 and 360. I'll fill them in again. I will only do it twice, do you see it's in 3 and 4? No? Goed, so stem julle saam my driehoekie gaan lê in die derde kwadrant. Immediately you can check yourself. Is cos negative in the third quadrant? Ja, so maak het sin dat ons hier 'n negatief het. Yes. So I fill it in. 3 and 5, where does the negative go? By die? 5 of die 3? Die 3, né? Because x is negative in the third quadrant. How do we calculate the other value? Pythagoras. And it will be 4. Good, negative 4. Why negative 4? Because y is negative in the third quadrant. Okay. Oor dieselfde goedjies. Nee, maar hoe meer jy oefen, hoe makliker word dit. Nou sê hulle vir jou bepaal die waarde van 3 tan x plus 25 sin kwadraat x. Okay, what's the value of tan x? Negative 4 over negative 3. So do you agree it's positive 4 over 3? Nee? Negative 4 gedeeld deur negative 3 is mos net 4 oor 3. Okay, and once again check yourself. Does it make sense that tan is positive? Yeah, tan is positive in quadrant 3. Okay? Okay, for this one, you're going to say the 25 on the outside and then a bracket squared. So only whatever you read off for sine squared, not the 25 squared as well. 25 is op sy eie. Nee? As ons moet sê 2x kwadraat, dan sal die kwadraat mos net by die x. Hy sê by die 2 ook nie, né? Sê julle saam? Okay. Goed, so lees gou vir my sin af. Okay. Goed. So daai ene gaan vereenvoudig na 4 toe en hier sal ons 25 maal met 16 op 25. I'm going to come back to that now. Enige funksie wat ons kwadreer is altyd positief. Why? Because if it's a positive in the bracket, then you'll have a positive times itself. So positive times positive, which gives you positive. As dit 'n minus is, soos hierdie hakie, dan wanneer jy die hakie kwadreer, is dit mos minus 4 op 5 maal met minus 4 op 5, right? So die minus maal met die minus word plus. So it doesn't matter which function it is, if you square it, it will always be positive, regardless, even though sine is supposed to be negative in the third quadrant. Okay? Sine is negative in the third quadrant, but sine squared will be positive because a negative times a negative becomes a positive.